Namaste, this is JB and Dr. Vishal Saxena, Associate Professor in Mathematics in Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today I am going to discuss on the module methodology and limitations of operation research. This module, this session is a part of the course Operation Research and under the program of BBA 6th semester and BBA Law 6th semester of the university. In the today's session we are discussing about the methodology of operation research subject, this course and the limitations of the subject. As all we know that this subject, this course operation research is a very important subject and having so many applications in the various fields. So that's why just this subject is, this course is included in the various different programs of the universities. This subject can be treated as a subfield of the mathematics because in this subject the mathematical equations and the mathematical concepts are used during the study of the operation research models, operation research subject, and that's why it is called a subfield of mathematics. Now this subject, as all we know that this subject consists of various different models like the linear programming problem model, the non-linear programming problems models, and the game theory model, the model of replacement theory, assignment models, transportation models, and queen theory models. Besides this subject just consists of many other important models, but how to apply these models means what should be the methodology of applying a particular model for a problem, we can study about in the detail in the today's lecture, today's session, and definitely because this operation research subject is a scientific technique and a very important, very good technique for the different fields like we can see in the business, finance, marketing and engineering, defense, agriculture field, and many other fields where just we can use the operation research models, and no doubt definitely the much improved profit can be obtained by using this and at the minimum cost. So this is also a very important issue of this subject, at the minimum cost with minimum time and the minimum number of manpower, means this manpower and various other means in the less resources. So how this subject or this model can be applied for the different problems and what are their limitations? Definitely because it is a scientific model, so it may be expensive there, and so what may be the limitations of this subject we are discussing about, and that's why we are sharing some slides on this. So initially the methodology part of the operation research is given there. Quantitative basis for the decision making is provided to managers by operation research. Actually operation research just will provide us a very appropriate decision, and by the decision model theory, decision theory model. So just it will provide managers a best decision, and which enhances a manager's ability to make long range plans and to solve the routine problems for the running of a business in or industry. Operation research is a systematic and a logical approach, and it will provide a rational footing of for the taking decisions, and operation research, like scientific research, is based on the scientific methodology which involves the following steps. So what should be the methodology for a problem being taken, and what should be the model, how to just apply or the what is the methodology for the particular problem or the operation research. Now we see in different steps. So first step, that is the formulation of the problem. So in the initial step, the problem just is formulated, and according to the problem, the model is chosen. So operation research is a research into the operation of a man, machine, organization, and must consider the economics of the operation. In formulation of a problem, operation research study analysis must be made on the following major components: environment, objectives, decision maker, and the alternative courses of action and their constraints. So these are the various components on which the operation research will study and analysis which of the model will be suitable for that. Second is constructing a model to represent the system under study. Now in this step we have to construct a model for our system, our problem. Once the project is approved by the management of the organization, then the next step to construct a model for the system under study, and the researcher can now construct a model to show the relations and interrelation between a cause and effect, or the between an action and a reaction. So in this way we can just now the investigator or the manager will decide, or the expert of the operation research field will decide that what kind of the model will be suitable for the system, for the problem. And next, deriving the solution from the model. A solution may be extracted from a model by the conducting experiments on it. So when a model is prepared, then its a solution will be derived. So in this in this step, the solutions will be obtained, and just it can be extracted from a model either by conducting experiments, that is by simulation, or by mathematical analysis. No model will work appropriately if the data is not appropriate, and such informations may be available from the experimental results. So it means this step will consist of the solution of the model, and it will be obtained by the simulation procedure or the mathematical analysis of the experiments. Next, in the fourth step of the methodology, the model is not tested. Testing the model and the solution derived from it. So here now the model will be tested and their solutions will be tested that they are appropriate or not. So as has been pointed out earlier, a model never a perfect representation of reality, but if properly formulated and correctly manipulated, it may be useful in predicting the effects of the changes in control variables in overall system effectiveness. So now the solutions will be tested and the models will be tested that whether they are giving the proper answer or not, proper solution or not. So that is the step of the methodology. And number fifth step of the methodology is to establish the controls over the solution. So establishing the controls over the solution, that is again a very important step, and the next phase for the operation researcher is to explain the findings to the management. It may be pointed out that he should specify those conditions under which the solution can be utilized. So in this step, the researcher will explain, the operation researcher will explain what kind of the conditions in which the solution can be utilized, and what are the parameters for the controlling of the solution. So establishing the controls over the solution again is important step for the methodology, and researcher means the expert of the operation research subject will explain these points that in what conditions the solution can be utilized. Number 6 step, the last phase of the operation research methodology, is implementation of the solutions obtained in the previous steps, and the decision making is scientific, but implementation involves so many behavioral issues. So that's why the implementing authority has to resolve the behavioral issues, and they have to sell the idea of utility of operation research not only the workers but also the superiors of the organizations, and therefore the solution means the solutions can be obtained by the models, and therefore in this step the researcher will explain the sale of idea of the utility of operation research, and they will just sell the idea for the workers and to the superiors as well. Now we are coming to the part of the limitations of the operation research. The first is dependence on an electronic computer, because this technique of finding the optimal solution, all the factors will be included there, and in the modern society the factors are enormous, and expressing them in quantity and establishing relations among those require voluminous calculations, so can only be handled by computers. So when a model is applied to a problem or to a system, then definitely, because the calculation parts and the quantities will be very just large, and the voluminous calculations can be seen there in the application of the models. That's why just means without the computers these are not possible to solve, and using the computers these problems can be handled in better way, and in less time. So that's why this is a limitation part of the operation research subject, that the electronic computers will be required to apply a model for a problem, and second is the non-quantifiable factors. So definitely operation research techniques will be applicable for the quantification factors, but on the non-quantified factors the operational research models will not be applicable. That's why factors that cannot be quantified find no place in the operation research models. So operation research is applicable for the non-quantified factors and not applicable for the non-quantifiable factors. Distance between manager and the operation researcher, it is again a very important point, because the operation research being the specialist job, and it requires a mathematician or a statistician who might not be aware of this business problems, because a mathematician or a statistician is not just familiar with the problems of business, while a business expert is not familiar with the subject of mathematics and the statistics, that means the subject of the operation research, so again there is a problem, and there is a gap between the two. Money and time costs. So when the basic data are subjected to frequent changes, again when the basic data means the data which are using in the models, in the problems, if these are frequently changes, then the incorporating them into the operation research models, and just if we if we use these frequent changes, then again a cost will become more and more, and the time will be consumed more. So definitely, moreover, fairly a good solution at present may be more desirable than a perfect operation research solution available after some time. So it means the money and the time is more required when the data or the basic data are changes in frequent order, and again that is a kind of the limitation for this application of this subject operation research. And implementation of the decisions is a delicate task. It must take into account the complexities of the human relations and their behaviors. So again, just implementation of decisions is a delicate task, and it must take into account the complexities of human relation and behavior. So that's why just it can also be considered as a limitation point of this subject in application part. And that's why just this subject operation research, which is a very useful and important subject for the various fields, but having some drawbacks, some limitations, and those limitations just we have discussed about these limitations, and now students are advised to just study this subject, this lesson, and prepare objective as well as the subjective questions for the examinations. Thank you.